Hey, how's it going guys? This is Tom from UDS and welcome to the latest edition in our series where we look at the games that critics hated, but in actual fact, we really enjoyed. Whether they're so bad they're good or genuinely underappreciated hidden gems, we think it's about time they get the spotlight they deserve. Based on aggregate review scores, we're gonna throw ourselves directly onto the controversy bonfire and tell you what you really missed out on if you only listened to the critics of yesteryear. Last thing before we start, don't forget to like, hit the bell and subscribe for plenty more video game content every single week, and let me know what your favourite underrated games are in the comments below. So, whenever the discussion of the worst games of all time arises, Rogue Warrior is often bandied about. And when you think about it, this is kind of surprising, given it has the might of Bethesda behind it, you know, that company that everyone loved until they didn't, as well as Rebellion, who created the amazing Judge Dredd Dredd vs. Death, which we featured a few weeks ago. Anyway, sitting with a paltry 29 out of 100 on Metacritic, Rogue Warrior hasn't garnered much in the way of praise from either players or critics since it was released in 2009. Now, would I dispute that it's not very good? No one could. But despite this, would I argue that it's still a lot of fun? You bet your
goddamn cock breath counting motherfucking
ass. Based very, very loosely on the real-life exploits of former Navy SEAL Dick Marcinko, you act as a veritable one-man army dropped behind enemy lines during the height of the Cold War. Ostensibly a by-the-numbers FPS, you have to take out foreign threats like the grizzled, all-American hero that you are. And while your methods might be extreme, they pale in comparison to your potty mouth.
fucking asshole, you little bitch, you suck-ass pig.
I'm pretty sure that Mickey Rourke, who voices Marcinko, stubbed his toe in the recording booth, as he manages to reel off pretty much every expletive-laden sentence that he could muster. But while the language is painfully juvenile and the gameplay is short and mindless, you can quite easily finish it in less than 2 hours. The sum of Rogue Warrior's parts is probably the closest we'll ever come to a faithful recreation of an 80s action film in gaming. There is a quote-unquote attempt to implement a stealth mechanic, but when the enemy AI has the attention span and spatial awareness of me after 2 lemon shandies, it's much easier to go all guns blazing. Now, this may come across as a downside, but for me, this makes for a much more entertaining experience than if I had to tediously peek behind cover, quietly cursing under my breath. Much like many of the films of Schwarzenegger and Stallone, as well as Rourke himself, you're not meant to go into the game looking for anything of substance. Instead, you play it for the over-the-top action, ridiculous dialogue, and machismo that frankly borders on the homoerotic. I mean, I'm about as red as Lenin's left pinky toe, but even I enjoyed playing as the jingoistic protagonist. And not because I agree with him, far from it, but because he serves as a parody of that mindset, and the silliness of it all is just as fun to watch as it is to play. That's why it's no surprise that many comedy gaming YouTube channels still break out Rogue Warrior to have a good laugh and a good time.
This is possibly the greatest game
of all time.
Of all time. Game of the year for every year.
Yeah.
And that's just it. A game doesn't have to be technically or philosophically advanced to be enjoyable. I love a good thought-provoking experience like Gris or Night in the Woods, but I also love to blow up baddies as an over-the-top action hero. This is a game that IGN described as completely bankrupt of any value whatsoever, giving it a scathing 1 out of 10 review. And purely on a technical level, it's hard to argue with the criticism. But if, like me, you finish a game with a big, cheesy grin on your face, regardless of what anyone else thinks, it's a good game. Simple as that. Oh, I'm scared to even ask, but what did you think of Rogue Warrior? Did you play it back in the day, or have I somehow managed to convince you to check it out now? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm scared, but I would love to read your thoughts. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe for more videos every single week, or you can always visit UpsideDownShark.com to read the article that inspired this series. I'll pop a link in the description. But until then, my name is Tom, this has been UDS, and we'll see you next time.